Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you for joining us in this EMA again. My name is Abdul Hadi Shaik, and I am really humbled to see so many people again joining us on our second EMA. First of all, let me, on behalf of Team Islamicly, wish everyone a very happy and a very blessed Ramadan. Let's hope this Ramadan brings us hope, brings us peace, brings prosperity in our lives. And let's hope that we all stay safe, we all recover from this unprecedented health calamity which is in front of all of us. Let us all pray and stay at home and ensure that we pray with our families, do iftars with our families, do suhurs with our families. Avoid all sorts of family gathering outside the people that you live in. And let's hope we emerge victorious and we emerge blessed after this Ramadan. Thank you for coming in. I would request everybody to start posting questions. AMAs are usually for asking doubts. It's not a one-way traffic. It's for people to clarify their doubts as to how to use Islamicly, how to trade Islamicly. There have been certain questions which are outside the scope of Islamicly, but we'll try and answer that as much as we can. If not, we will respond to you individually on the app, as we have been endeavoring to do. Before we wait for a couple of more people to join in, I can see a lot of people already joined in, plus questions have also started coming in. Thank you for the questions. Ikhlas, wa alaikum assalam. Shanid Ali, wa alaikum assalam. Rashid Iqbal, wa alaikum assalam. Azim Ahmad, Ikhlas and Rashid Iqbal has already posted a question. Thank you for the questions. We will wait for more questions to come in. Let me give you a small brief again as to what we are trying to do. What's next? Thank you, Shahid, for coming in. And what's next with Islamicly? In this month of Ramadan, we're very excited to, as we've always been saying, that we are very soon going to launch a desktop version. Inshallah, very soon and within Ramadan, you will see the desktop version coming into being live. So the desktop version is going to make life very easy for a lot of people. The app itself is also going to get upgraded in Ramadan, inshallah. It'll have all the feedback that you've given us for in the past, that you need more detailed information on the stock screening page. Can I filter by sectors? Can I filter by 100% Sharia compliant companies? If a stock is failing something, what are the financial ratios that are failing? We will do all of this. But in exchange of that, there will be a small membership fee that we'll be charging so that we can have the excellent quality of research that you appreciate and like keep on going. We can continue working with the best Sharia finance scholars in the world and keep bringing you this information and a couple of more segments as we go down the line. So keep coming to Islamicly and keep investing Islamically. Let me start taking questions. A couple of questions have already come in. Let's start with the first question. And we will keep this AMA strictly for 60 minutes because in a lot of jurisdictions, inshallah, it will be time for iftar. And we don't want to expand on the timings. So this will get over, inshallah, exactly in another 55 minutes. So keep questions coming in fast, because we will switch off the AMA, inshallah, in exactly 55 minutes from now. Ikhlas is asking me a question saying that, could you say what is the way of trading oil that would make it halal? At present, the spot price is also linked to future contract, which is not permissible. A very good question. Trading oil commodities. There are Sharia compliant variants of this. A lot of large, big investment banks have such products. We've also helped them in terms of structuring those products. I'll do some research and send you some contracts, but on a retail basis, it's pretty tough to get hold of oil-based, spot-based contracts which are Sharia compliant. If any of the other users know of any of such products available, please do suggest or write in the forum as to what are those available options, so that Brother Ikhlas can probably make use of it. With another point that we'd like to make over here before I move on to taking the next questions is a lot of Islamic finance or Islamic or Sharia compliant products are available only to institutional investors because of the high entry ticket size or availability or marketing material available, or it being open up to retail individual investors. Islamically, in its course of time, will endeavor to get you on the app all of these investment products so that they can be made available on a retail basis. The simplest form is something like sukuks, right? A lot of sukuks are getting issued. So these are Islamic bonds, if you would like me to say that, for simplicity's sake. So these are asset-backed securities which give an indicative price of payoff. A lot of people would want to invest in that because equity may not be their piece of cake, because it may be too volatile for their liking. But the entry barriers to sukuk investments is quite high. The minimum ticket sizes could be as high as $50,000 to $100,000, and a lot of people might not have that kind of money to put in upfront. But then, if we were able to make sukuks available in small quantities, in smaller amounts, and open up the distribution on Islamicly app, you guys can come in, do the KYC, whichever jurisdiction you are in, and get it done. So these are some things that we are working on right now. In future, we will get you more and more investment options like ETFs, mutual funds, Sharia compliant structured products, which are available for retail investors to put in money. So join us as much as you can. Tell more and more people to use Islamicly, because a lot of these products require a minimum amount of quorum. So let's say, inshallah, very soon we will be 100,000 subscribers. We are still way off from that. Inshallah, when we reach there, all of these will be available for the benefit of a lot of people. So let's try and get there. Rashid Iqbal is saying commodity trading is halal in crude oil and gold. In principle, yes. Available products, you'll have to search it out. Gold, there are a lot of ETFs which are Sharia compliant, but just because an ETF is trading in gold or physical gold does not make it Sharia compliant. In theory, yes, it is Sharia compliant, but it may not be Sharia compliant unless, as I said in the last area, it should have a proper Sharia review. An ETF, which is gold-based, which says that they do indulge in physics, it's a replication of the physical amounts of gold. I'm simplifying a lot of things so that everybody understands these things. Needs to have a Sharia board which has certified it. Needs to have the named Sharia scholars inside the board. 2, it should have an audit. 3, it should have an audit. If an ETF or any gold-based investment program has this thing, then I believe it should be Sharia compliant. So Rashid, commodity trading and gold in principle is Sharia compliant in spot, but do look out for the contracts to see whether it's 100% based on spot and backed by physical commodities at the back end. Shahid asks me a question saying that any Sharia-based broker who would trade by themselves with our fund, we refrain from advising how to put in your money, principally because we're not licensed to do that. I recommend that you put it on the group, put it on the app, and people who know about it can definitely respond. I know for a fact that in a couple of countries, like for example, the US, Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, Saudi, you do have a lot of brokers who offer Sharia compliant trading opportunities. Off late, something in the robo-advisories field is making a lot of noise. We haven't checked whether they are really Sharia compliant or not. As I said, we do not comment on third-party products as yet, but do check them out. Just Google it and you will find it. We do not recommend anybody as of now. Inshallah, when we have such partnerships going on, where we have 100% assurances that they are functioning in accordance with Sharia principles, we will put out the requirements. Shahid, I recommend that you put your question on the forum, and a lot of people who have access, who have used other products, should help him out in terms of posting as to which are Sharia compliant brokers, so that he can put in his money and the broker can do it. So basically, essentially, you're asking about a PMS service, a portfolio management service, or a structured portfolio management program. Thank you. There are a lot of questions which have come in now. Let me go faster. Shanid Ali says, Vedanta is listed as Sharia compliant by other apps, but Islamically, this is non-compliant. Such questions I will not be able to answer off the hand over here, but let me see what is, why is Vedanta non-compliant? Vedanta is an Indian company. I believe it should be non-compliant because of debt, because a lot of these steel manufacturing companies go out because of debts. Let's see, Vedanta. It's basic materials, it's non-compliant. The stock fails accounting ratios. I don't know which app you're referring to, but basis our research, we can see that it fails the ratios. In the advanced version, which is going to come up very soon in a couple of weeks, within Ramadan, inshallah, you will be able to see why such companies are failing. Is it failing the sector, or is it failing the ratios? If it fails the ratios, which ratio is it failing? So you can have a clear understanding as to why a stock has been marked non-compliant. If you're comparing ourselves with any other service provider in the Sharia space, I don't know anyone who has this kind of detailed research on their apps or has a research team backed approach. The first thing you should do is compare the criteria. Okay, the criteria that we use is available on the app. If you go to the profile section, there is screening criteria available. Compare the criteria that we are using. Secondly, look at the Sharia scholars which have given approval to this criteria. Thirdly, how popular or how many people have subscribed to this. I mean, our Sharia criteria is being used by, in our estimate, about 50% of all equity investments made in a Sharia compliant manner are using the Sharia criteria that we are using. It's a slight upgrade to the AOFI criteria, and it's a dynamic criteria because we have an active Sharia board. In fact, the chairman of our Sharia board has been a key member of AOFI as well. So we have the best of both worlds. So Vedanta, we've answered the question. It's very simple to ask these questions on the app as well. If you go to the Vedanta stock details page, you scroll down, you will see start discussion. Just write what your query is over there, and our team will answer very, very quickly on that. And inshallah, in the advanced subscription-based version, you will be able to see all this reasoning very, very quickly itself on the app. Ikhlas says, what is the business model? I'm not sure, Ikhlas, what do you mean? Which business model of a particular company, or not sure what your question is. So if you can elaborate that, I can inshallah answer that. Shanid Ali says, would love to know about trading in commodities. In principle, trading in commodities is Sharia compliant if it's on spot basis, but do look at the contracts that are available on the local exchange in your country. They should be certified as Sharia compliant, or just have a look if it's 100% backed by commodities, physical commodities. Nawaz is asking, what should you do if you invested in a stock that had below 33% interest-bearing debt, but then a few years later it goes above 33%? Do you sell it all and purify your wealth? Jazakallah khair. Thank you for the question. I think we've answered this on the app. It's very simple. When you invest in a company, when it is Sharia compliant, do not bother whether it is sector compliant or it is ratio compliant. A green on our app is compliant. A red on our app means non-compliant. You cannot invest in an app which is non-Sharia compliant, and you can freely invest in an app which is Sharia compliant. Now, Nawaz's question is that he has invested in a stock which is Sharia compliant when the investment was made. Subsequently, because of whatever reason, the reason may be financial, that is a debt ratio failing, or it could be the price of the company falling, hence that the ratio failing, or the business or the company has started a new business line which is not Sharia compliant. Whatever be the reason, if it becomes non-compliant after you have invested when it was Sharia compliant, you have 90 days to sell the stock. It is broken into two parts. The first 30 days, you can wait and watch if the stock again turns back to compliance. This happens if it fails the ratios. In the business sector screening, it doesn't change that quickly. But if it fails the ratios, you can check in the next 30 days if it becomes compliant again. If it becomes compliant in the first 30 days, the stock becomes Sharia compliant for you as normal. You don't have to do anything. But if the stock turned non-compliant and you're holding on to it and you waited for 30 days, within the 30 days, it did not become compliant again, you now have 60 days to sell the stock. Got it? Now, in this 60 days, if you receive a dividend, you'll have to purify 100% of that dividend. If you receive any capital gain in this 60-day period after you sell off the stock, you have to purify that 100%. Got it? The first 30 days, you don't have to do anything. It's a wait and watch. It's a grace period. The next 60 days is your timer. Within that 60 days, you have to sell that stock. If you get any dividends during those last 60 days, you have to 100% purify that. That is, if you receive $100 as dividend, you have to give away the whole $100. And if you receive capital gains of like $50 by means of trading, you have to purify the entire $60. Very, very simple. Okay, so you have 90 days to sell the stock off, 30 days to wait and watch. Within the 30 days, if it becomes compliant, no problem, continue holding it. But after the 31st day, if it still remains non-compliant, you now have 60 days to sell this off. Within the 60 days, whatever capital gains you make from the 61st day till the day you sell it, you have to purify it 100%. Whatever dividends you get from the 61st day till the day you sell it off, you have to purify that 100%. If you get dividends within the first 30-day period, it's normal. You have to apply the dividend purification ratio. As you can see on the app, click on the stock tile, it flips, click on the purify, the page will open up. Below, put the dividend amount and the date you received it, submit. Instantly, you will get to know what is the exact amount in the local currency that you need to purify. Very, very simple. Sheikh Muhammad Tanveer says, please send me Sharia compliant stock list on the NSE and BSE. Mr. Sheikh Muhammad Tanveer, brother, you can just go on Islamicly app, select the universe as India, click on the bottom button, which is the universe, and you can see all the stocks which are listed on the NSE and BSE. Please do remember that we have a fair, if you see, I have selected India, and if you click on the universe, the middle part over here, you can see all the stocks which are listed in India. So you've got Reliance, Tata Telecommunication. So red is non-compliant and green is compliant. Very simple. Got it? You can see all the stocks. If you do not find any stock over there, you can search for it from the search button on the top. If it is not available, we have not initiated screening on that. It will automatically ask you to start screening request. Click on it. We will get the screening request, and within 24 hours, inshallah, we'll get back to you with the screening request. Please, believe me, we have a huge coverage on the Indian stock market as well. Of all the major stocks, we have 1,600 stocks that we have covered. 635 stocks, as I can see, are Shariah compliant in the Indian market. That's NSE and BSE. So we don't send lists. We give a dynamic compliance where every day the stocks are updated. You can come on the app and see if it's compliant or not. If you want to track the compliances, add your preferred stock onto a portfolio. It will keep monitoring it. If it turns non-compliant, you get a notification. Every Monday, we send you an emailer as well. On the emailer, you can see which stocks are Sharia compliant and which are not within your portfolio. We make your life very simple in terms of Sharia investments. Giving list is a very stale concept. It doesn't work that way because Sharia compliance is dynamic. You've got to look into it whether it is compliant today or not. Miraj Siddiqui has asked if someone buys Sharia compliant share but later it gets non-compliant due to accounting issues. I've already answered this. If you've missed that, please come back and see the recording of the email. We've also answered these questions on the weekly emailers that we send, on the daily emailers that we send. On Monday, there is a section on the Monday emailer where you get to know stock trading rules. So we take one trading rule and we give you the entire explanation as to what are those trading rules. So please do keep looking at those emails. You will get a lot of information. Miraj Siddiqui, how to decide when to exit such shares? I've already answered that question. You have 90 days. Divided into 30 and 60. Go and have a look at that. Listen to the same podcast. Samuela is asking, what does the silver stock means in the app? I'm not sure what do you mean by silver. If it is grayed out, it would mean that it is not listed in your market. It's listed in some other market. If you click on that, you can access that stock. If that is what you mean. Let's say, for example, I am on the app and I am searching for Apple, which is not available on the Indian stock market. It will give me a result for Apple. It's taking a lot of time today. I'll just kill the app and launch it again. So if that is what you mean, then it means it's not listed in your market. It's listed in some other market. You click on that and you will get that. In addition, it may also mean that that stock is not covered by us. So if you see, you will get Apple bought in different markets divided by that. So I don't know what you mean by silver stock. Okay, if you can write it again, I'll probably get down there and answer it quickly. Let's move on. We don't have much time. Kamila says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. How exactly are you screening for industry criteria? How do you know how much alcohol or pork some retailers sell? How do you know what is under other income? Yes. Kamila, if I'm pronouncing your name properly, we have answered this question on the app as well. Please go and look at the app for the answer. It's a very detailed response that we've given. Essentially, for everybody over here to understand this, I'll explain this again. Sharia compliant screening is not an algorithm-based mechanism. You just can't take an algorithm and write that if I have a list of 10,000 stocks, they're classified into sectors. Basis sectors, I can assign a value of compliant, non-compliant, and I get the answer. Now, two, even if you get detailed information of revenue, so every company who's listed gives segment revenues, segment A, segment B, segment C, segment D, whatever it may be. Looking at those segments also, you may not get 100% idea as to whether a company is involved in Sharia compliant activities or not. The way we do it is, yes, we do an input from one of the best data providers in the world to get the financial data. We then look at the sector compliances through an individual analyst-based research screening approach. So every stock that you see goes to an analyst. The analyst has the experience of screening Sharia compliant stocks. As you know, the entire team has been doing this for about 20 years now. Now, this experience of what is compliant, what is not compliant, also comes in because we've been directly interacting with the Sharia scholars, the best Sharia scholars in the world in the field of Islamic finance. If we have a doubt as to how to treat this or how to treat that, we ask the question to the Sharia scholars and we get an answer. We have till date conducted hundreds of Sharia committee meetings till date and have discussed more than 300 to 400 questions which are pertaining to only equity screening. Only equity screening as to how to do this segment, how to do that segment, how do we ascertain whether a retailer, what is the criteria for ascertaining a retailer for non-permissible incomes, for real estate companies, for platform companies, for manufacturing companies. all of different segments, biotechnology companies, new age technology companies, Bitcoins, stuff like that is all of this keeps exciting us, and then we keep going and asking the Sharia committee about this. So our Sharia research is based on individually looking at the companies and not by doing an algorithm-based screening. So if there is an other income mentioned and we feel that the other income is more than 5% and we need to know the details of it, we write to the management of the companies, and then we get that information, and then we assign a compliance. So we do not assume a lot of things. We do detailed screening on all of these things. Please do go to the app and have a look at the answer. You will get to know what are the detailed steps that we do in terms of screening. So short answer, Camilla, is if I do not know what is there inside a particular segment information, I ask the management of the company. We send them an email, and they do respond to us. Iskandar says, does the numerator considered in the calculation of the debt ratio include short-run and long-run debt, or only short-run debt? Thanks. Does all the information used in the calculation come from the balance sheet of the company, or what other accounting document is considered? A debt is definitely conclusively mentioned in the financial report. We will have to depend on the financial report. We prefer using the quarterly and the annuals, whichever is the latest. If the annuals do not have if the quarterly do not have the complete information, we rely on the previous annual. But if the latest quarterly numbers have the complete information, we rely on that. So there you go. Debt for accounting ratio purposes means all kinds of debt. So it's short term and long term, but it should be interest bearing. If it is non-interest bearing debt, then the Sharia committee says that we should exclude that from calculating the total debt. Okay, so it's the short term plus long term. Camilla is asking again, what methodology do you stick to? AOFE. As I said, AOFE is a base criteria that has been developed by a large group of Sharia scholars to give a basic minimum for everybody to understand what are the rules of Sharia screening. Now, a lot of investment funds and a lot of actively traded funds in the Sharia space have their own active Sharia board. We as well, Islamicly, also has an active Sharia board, which it comprises of the best Sharia scholars in the world. The names of the Sharia scholars are available in the profile section. You can even see the Sharia certificate given to us by that Sharia board. In the revamped website that is going to launch, inshallah, in Ramadan, you can see the entire profile of these Sharia scholars, how popular these people are, how renowned these people are, and what is the knowledge base that these Sharia scholars have. 2, our criteria is also mentioned on the app as well as on our website. You can see the entire criteria that we are using. And as I said before, we believe that more than 50% of globally listed equities which are managed in the Sharia compliant manner use our Sharia screening criteria. Thirdly, our Sharia screening criteria is dynamic. That means we keep working with the Sharia scholars to improvise upon these screening criteria, to incorporate newer and newer things that keep coming into, which keep coming to our notice, and hence it's a very dynamically most updated Sharia screening criteria. There you go. So we have our own Sharia Scholars Board, which has given us our own Sharia screening criteria. It's not very different from AOFE, but it is slightly different because a lot of research has gone into it, and we feel this is the best judge as of now of figuring out whether a stock is Sharia compliant or not. In terms of the caliber or the credentials of our Sharia Scholars Board, the chairman of our Sharia Scholars Board is a key member of AOFE as well. So there is definitely a synergy between what we are doing and what AOFE is also doing. Muhammad Kamran also asked the question, what if a stock becomes Sharia non-compliant? I've answered this in this EMA earlier. 2, please do go back to 2 or 3 weeks back, the Monday reports, and we have also mentioned what is the rule of if a stock turns non-compliant or you invest in a non-compliant stock by mistake, what's the rule? Muhammad Faraz says, what does purify refer to? Please do have a look at last blog that we published, that is this week on Tuesday. So this Tuesday, the week that has gone by, the Tuesday, the blog that we published talks in detail about what is purification and how purification has to be performed. So it's on the app as well. It's a very detailed discussion. It's on the app as well. If you can see the first article now, purification of Shariah compliant equities. It's on the article section. You click on it, you will be able to see what is purification, how it is performed, and the entire detailed, transparent information has been given, how you can use the purification option on the Islamicly app as well. It's there. In addition, there is a video on the Islamicly YouTube channel using which you can see how the purification can be performed on the app. Essentially, purification means since we are allowing investment in Sharia in companies which may have less than 5% in pure income, the purification of this 5%, the removal of this 5% impure income from your investment is called purification. That's it. Very, very simple terms. So a stock which gets 98% revenue from Sharia compliant sources, but still gets 2% revenue from non-compliant sources, is judged to be Sharia compliant, subject to it passing the financial ratios. Now, when you get a return from this company, that is in terms of dividend, that dividend comprises, or in that proportion, 2% of this non-permissible income as well. For us, taking that non-permissible income is not permissible for Sharia compliant equity purposes. Hence, that ratio is calculated, and when you get that dividend, just punch in that dividend, and Islamically calculates the amount that you need to purify instantly. As simple as that. For a detailed review of what is purification, please do go read that article. Mirat Siddiqui says, can we document these answers and share with members? It will help for future. All of these AMAs are recorded and it's available on our YouTube channel. So the last AMA that we did is also available on our YouTube channel. And inshallah, we are giving as much content as is possible in our daily emailers. So the Monday emailer has tips of how the Monday emailer has one trading rule that we discuss. It also has one feature that we want to highlight of the Islamicly app. The Tuesday blogs will give you more information about compliances. So this Tuesday, we did a blog on what is purification. Inshallah, such interesting topics will keep coming in. The Thursday email that you get is a very, very informative, very well-researched information, which will give you more confidence that is Team Islamically really know what they're trying to do? Can they really understand what Sharia compliant screening is? So we give out detailed write-ups as to what are the tricky areas that can be looked into while screening for Sharia compliant equities. All of this knowledge has come to us from working with the Sharia scholars for the past 20 years. So it's documented, it's available on our YouTube channel. Danish said is currency trading, forex, halal or haram, and also cryptocurrency. All of this have a Sharia compliant version. You will have to look for Sharia compliant forex trading options. I don't think in the retail domain it's available that easily. Islamically will endeavor to get you such retail products and on the currency and commodity sides very soon. In theory, yes, currency trading can be Sharia compliant, but it has to be structured in that manner. So you have to find which in your country, if you have a bank which is giving you this option. Cryptocurrency as well, you'll have to see if that fund or that product which says that they are Sharia compliant has all the features of being Sharia compliant. The test for you and me, for simple people, is it should have a Sharia board. Sharia scholars should be named in that board, and 3 should have a continuous audit by the Sharia Scholars Board. Muhsin is asking how much month can hold Sharia stocks. I don't think there's any limit on holding Sharia stocks. You can hold for as much as you want. Shami Khan is asking a private question here, but it's fine. I can ask him. I can answer that. He says, what is the cost of the paid version? Let me disclose something to all the dear people who have managed to log in today. I'm not disclosing the price, but there will be a pre-launch offer for the most active users on the app. So do come on the app on a daily basis and try and look at stocks, look at research reports that we've published, look at the blogs that we've published, try and look at the forums, try and answer other people's questions, or try post questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. For the most active users on the app, we'll be coming up with a really deep discounted, never before, never after offer, but it will be given only to the most active users, and it will be a pre-launch offer. So keep coming on the app, keep looking out for our emails. Very soon, within a couple of weeks, we will be sending out the links to the most active users on the app for a very deep discounted price. I can say that discount will be more than 50%. And it will be available only in the pre-launch stage and not after that. So be regular on the app. Rashid Iqbal says, intraday trading halal or not? Buying fast, selling later, with the intention of taking delivery. If all of this happens the same day, our view is it's Shariah compliant. So there you go. Selling first, buying later, definitely no, non-compliant. Okay, Imran asks me, how do you decide sector-based compliance? For example, you have BAE, I think it's British Aerospace Engineering, as sector compliant, but they deal in arms and weaponry. Two parts of the question: how do we determine sector? If the sector is permissible sector as per the Sharia screening criteria, it should be fine. More specifically, if you're asking that British Aerospace Engineering deals in weaponry, in the past AMA also I have answered this. I will be happy to answer this now as well, although we just have 22 minutes left. Our Sharia committee and our Sharia scholars believe that weapons are neutral. You can use it for defense, you can use it for offense. So the manufacturer of the weapons is neutral. The user of the weapon is a person who can put a compliant or a non-compliant usage to it. Simple as that. I hope I'm able to answer your question. Our Sharia committee believes that weapons are neutral. So the manufacturer who is listed, who gets revenue from selling of weapons, is doing a Sharia compliant activity. It's the buyer of the weapons and the ultimate application of that weapon would determines whether it's compliant or not, but that responsibility lies on the buyer and not on the manufacturer. It's as simple as you have a knife, you can cut an apple with a knife, you can go murder somebody as well. Got it? But manufacturing that knife cannot be considered non-compliant. Miraj Siddiqui says, can you tell me the basis of this 90% decision for non-Sharia compliant stocks? There is no, of what has been decided by the Sharia scholars is that there should be a reasonable time given to the investor to move out of that stock. And what is a reasonable time? A quarter is more than reasonable. You got my point? That has been the logic that the Sharia scholars have used. You cannot ask. I don't think there could be a basis in the hadith to substantiate this. The Sharia scholars, looking at their knowledge, looking at the way financial markets work, looking at the way capital markets work, looking at how volatile things could get, have come up with the conclusion that a quarter, that is 90 days, is good enough time to allow people to move out of a non-compliant position. Okay, Imran says also, how do you calculate financial ratios? He has checked a couple of stocks and he says that they seem to be fine, but in our calculation they seem to be failing. Imran, if you see first of all, why do you have to get into all of this? Okay, just on a lighter vein, Islamicly makes it so easy for you. Okay, but for your academic interest, I'll be happy to answer that. It's very simple. The numerator is the debts. Let's say, for example, you're calculating the debt ratio. So you need to know which debt components you have to add for the numerator. For the denominator, it's 3 years moving average market cap. Okay, this data is not easily available on the internet. You need to have a continuous feed of pricing information and the market cap information, and hence Islamically invests a lot of resources and a lot of subscription monies to get this data from the best of the best service providers in the world. So theoretically, it's total debt divided by 3 years moving average market cap. This ratio is given in the Shariah screening criteria available in the profile section of your app. It's very transparently given. In the advanced version, you will come to know what ratio is failing. As of now, we just say the ratios are failing. In the advanced version, you will know which ratios are failing. We always welcome people questioning our data. We do not mind answering or correcting ourselves if we have made an error. Essentially, the short answer is Islamicly does all the hard work for you, and trust us, our research is being done on a daily basis. We've built complex computer systems. We have a huge team of research analysts with a good amount of experience in terms of looking at what is Shariah compliant and what's not. A lot of global institutional clients use the data given by us. So that's the kind of quality that we assure of our data. Maz says, how should a newbie start to it? Very, very simple. Download the app, look at stocks which you like, you think are going to increase. Just create a portfolio, add those stocks into the portfolio, input a notional amount of holdings, and you can see whether you're making money on it or you're not making money on it, right? So this is how you can gamify the entire Sharia trading experience. If you think you have made a good choices of stocks and you think your portfolio returns are good, you can open up an account with your regular trader, regular stockbroking trade account. And before you start putting in money in actual, look at the stock on the Islamicly app if it's Shariah compliant or not. If it's compliant, you can go ahead and invest over there. You can sync both the platforms very, very simply. Just download your portfolio positions from the app, from your trading app, upload it onto Islamicly. I hope you guys know how to do that, right? I mean, let's say, let me kill the app and launch it again and show you how can you sync it, right? The app is getting launched. And let's say you want to sync your existing portfolio. Very simple. Just create a new portfolio. Okay, you clicked on that. Put a name to this. Let's say it's ABCD. Click on submit. You get two options. You can manually select or you can upload the Excel file, right? So you select this top one, upload the Excel file. It opens up your mobile hard drive so that you can upload the file. Very simple. All of this is going to become even more simple in the desktop version. It's going to be very simple, very straightforward, very automated on the desktop version. So please look out, be active on the app so that you can get the advanced subscription offer. And the next question, Azim says, would you suggest the best stock to invest for long-term earnings, especially for beginner? If you have time, thank you. Azim, recommending stocks to buy, by law, it has to be given by certified professionals who can give advisory. We do not give advisory as to which stocks are going to give you the best returns, which stocks are not going to give you the best returns. You can probably open up a discussion on the app, and a lot of people can suggest that, okay, X is Shariah compliant stock and is giving a good return. Y is also Shariah compliant stock, is not giving a good return. You can start discussing these things on the app as well. Discussions can be on any topic. We do not close it for anything, as long as it's Shariah compliant. We do not give advisory as to what stock to buy and what stock to sell. Okay, I'll go quickly. Ikhlas says, for a share after purchasing, it becomes non-compliant. How can we know within 30 days whether the share has become compliant, as the financial statements are usually results quarterly or bi-annually? Very good question, Ikhlas. As I said, the financial ratios on the numerator is the information that we get from the financial information. So debt, cash, or accounts receivable. Yes, it gets disclosed every quarter or semi-annually. But the denominator is 3 years moving average market cap. What is market cap? It's price into outstanding shares. Every day the price changes. So let's say the ratio today is 34%. The price increases of that stock. Hence the market cap also increases and the average might also increase. It may become non-compliant. The ratio may become 32%. Got it? You will get a notification on the app if any of the stocks that you hold in the portfolio changes compliance. So if a compliant stock becomes non-compliant, you get a notification. If it's a non-compliant stock becomes compliant, you get a notification. There will be many more such features which can help you manage your Shariah compliant portfolio in an automated manner in the advanced version which is coming up, which is going to be subscription based. So do look out for that. Ali says, which is the best brokerage in India? As of now, we've not looked into that. Down the line, we're getting a lot of requests that why don't we tie up with a stockbroker in India and Malaysia and Singapore and the US. First of all, we'd like to bring you such tools through which you can do a lot of things on your own. That's the first intention that we want to do. Inshallah, in future, if we have a broker who wants to work with us, we can work with them and bring you a recommended broker sometime down the line. As of now, use any broker. As long as you invest in an Islamic manner, the way you can do it is by using Islamicly app. Very simple. Habib says, day trade allowed. What conditions? Yes, day trading is allowed. Buy first, sell later. Intention to have physical delivery. Using leverage is not recommended. Anatoly is asking, is it possible to write details in app why stock is compliant or non-compliant? Example, ratio. Yes, in the advanced version, we're going to give you this. So we will also give you the sector, the tricky areas in that sector. We'll also give you why and which ratio it is failing. So be regular on the app so that in just a couple of days, we're going to release a pre-launch offer available only and only to the very regular customers. Look out for that. Muhammad Kamran says, the app is wonderful. Thank you, Kamran Bhai. But please add more sorting and filter options in the app. Yes, we are getting you more filter and sort options in the advanced version. Look out for that. Be regular on the app to avail the pre-launch offer. It's only going to come to the top some numbers of regular users. Hazwan says, is CFDR halal? Hazwan, I'm not sure what CFDR means. If it's a ticker, just look at on the app. You will instantly get whether it's Shariah compliant or not. Anatoly again asked the question, how often do you update the information about companies? The financial ratios and the financial screening is updated on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we check if a new number has come in. We check that. If a new financial has come, or a new annual report has come in, or a new quarterly report has come in, we also get the sector checked by our research analyst. So every day, every stock is checked. So we have a system which makes it mandatory to check the stocks on a daily basis. 12 noon your time, you get a notification if any stock is changing compliance because of financial ratios or numbers or sectors, whatever be the reason. 12 noon your local time, you get a notification if anything has changed. So do not worry, we are updating the app on a daily basis. Requires a lot of effort, but that's the only way to do it. Camila has asked a very interesting question. What differentiates you from Wahid Invest and another company? Wahid Invest is a portfolio management service. So they take money and they give returns. So essentially, you are giving your money to somebody else for them to manage in a Sharia compliant manner. We do not do that. We do not take your money for investment. We are an information app, which means that you can invest with your own knowledge, using your own broker, reduce your cost by 3 to 4x by investing through somebody else, and be in compliance to Sharia by referring to the Islamicly app. That's a simple concept. So Islamicly app does not take money. That means we do not take your money for investments. We do not accept money for investment. We give you information as to what is compliant, what's not. We give you tools using which you can manage your own portfolio in a Sharia compliant manner. And believe me, this is the most cheapest way of managing a Sharia compliant portfolio. The most cheapest way. Have your own trading account, have a subscription to Islamically, map both of them together. You have a killer combination of the cheapest combination available for investing in a Sharia compliant manner. Shami Khan, how much is the cost of the paid version? Be regular on the app. Very soon you're going to get a pre-launch offer, only available to a select few people who are the most regular on the app. Ahmed Badri says, in Malaysia, Securities Commission reviews the securities in stock exchange twice in a year. How often do you review yours? Financial numbers daily, sector screening. As soon as the sector report comes out, we do a sector screening as well. So that means your app is up to date. The second you open the app, it is up to date. Daily is what we refresh our app. 12 noon, you get a notification. If Hazwan says, if a broker company, that is Colmex, TD Trade, Saxo, give a leverage to account holders, is it halal? As I said, buy first, sell later, you should be fine. Hairul Azizi says, if the mother stock is Sharia compliant, do you have any idea about the compliance if its CFD and derivative option is compliant? Hairul Azizi, I think we have answered this question last time as well. Options, futures, CFD contracts, the traditional ones that you get on through your broker is Sharia not compliant. You will have to ask your broker to build a Sharia compliant futures and options strategy for you. If the mother stock is compliant, futures and options on that is not compliant. I'm sorry about that. A lot of people have asked us this question. The reason being, the essence of a futures and options contract doesn't qualify the trade transaction to be Sharia compliant. All right. I mean, it's very simple. If I have to give you an example, you can grow barley, right? Everybody knows barley. It's like wheat or it's like a grain, right? So barley growing is Sharia compliant because you can make a porridge, you can make a sweet dish out of that, you can grind it, and you can make probably some kind of a bread out of it. But barley is also used for making alcohol. It's one of the key ingredients in beer. So if we say that barley is compliant and the major component of beer is barley, shouldn't beer be compliant? It's not exactly similar comparables, but it should give you an idea. So the mother ingredient is Sharia compliant, right? But the end product, that the stock is compliant, but the end product, which is the futures and options, is non-compliant. That means it is non-compliant. Simple as that. Ali says, please do webinar on GoToWebinar. We'll try that. Sorry about the technical issues that you're facing. Anatoly says, what source do you use for screening company? As I said, we have we use the financial numbers from the company annual reports. We go to the company website, we talk to the company management, we get guidance from our Sharia scholars. On a daily basis, we get inputs on pricing data and on financial data, which has been published through one of the top 2 companies in this industry. In addition to that, we have our own internal checks and balances. If we feel the numbers that we get from that service provider may be off here or there, we do our own number screening and then only we publish. So we have a huge analyst team which works on it. Inshallah, in future, once the lockdown gets over globally, we will do a live, one of the webinars that we will do in our office. And you can see exactly how the entire screening works and what kind of research teams that we have. And we will be humbled for you to have a look at our small office as well, and see for yourself as to whether there is a real research team out here which is doing the research and giving you accurate, precise Sharia compliant information. Ali says, please shed some light on good brokerages in India. As of now, we do not recommend any. Sorry about that. Shahid says, another company only allows 3% from non-compliant and Islamicly allows 5%. So what's the difference? Shahid, I think the other company which allows 3% as the threshold for impure income, that Sharia committee thinks that 3% is more than enough. Our Sharia committee and a lot of other Sharia committees in the world thinks that 5% is just enough. You should not exceed more than 5%. So it depends on the Sharia committee to Sharia committee. But then if you see all the big players in the world, I mean, the S&P Sharia committee, even the AOFI Sharia committee, the Dow Jones Sharia committee, the FTSE Sharia committee, the MSCI Sharia committee, Al-Raji Sharia committee, NCB Sharia committee, the large banks in the world, in Malaysia, Indonesia, Saudi, Dubai, Qatar, these big screening providers in the world, all of their Sharia committees think that 5% is the threshold that should be maintained. But the other company that you're referring to, if their Sharia committee thinks it's 3%, if you're following that criteria, that's also good. It just depends on what the Sharia committee thinks, what the scholars think. So our scholars think it's 5%, their scholars think it's 3%, and that's the difference. Azim says, Assalamu alaikum, walaikum salam, can we invest directly from Islamicly app? No, you cannot. We're not an investment app as of now. Is Islamicly considered to have such a platform when we have thousands of users? Inshallah, yes. When we have thousands of users, which we already have, by the way, we have like many thousands of users. You can see the download information from the Play Store. As of now, we're working on giving you more tools through which you can have more assurance that this data is solid. It'll answer your questions. You don't need to ask us on a one-to-one basis. We want to do it that way. As of now, we're focusing on that, and inshallah, in the next updates, we will probably have an integration with some of the brokers globally, and you can directly invest from the Islamicly app or invest through the broker, and you can get data from Islamicly as well, inshallah, in future. Okay, we're running out of time. I will probably quickly go through the other questions. Shanid Ali again says, your view on intraday trading using CNC, cash purchase and sale without using MIS facility. I think you're referring to the ones which in India Zerodha is providing. I don't know exactly what it is, but if you buy first, sell later, intended to take delivery, if you do all of these things on the same day, should be fine. Avoid leverage. Okay, Camilla says, why don't we use on market cap and why don't we use in assets? I'm going to publish a research report on that. Some Sharia scholars think it should be on total assets. Some Sharia scholars think the real value of the company is on the market cap. Our Sharia scholars and the majority view on this is that you should do ratios on the market cap and not on total assets. There is a big debate out there still, but off late this debate is coming down. Sharia compliance screening is more or less set on the total market cap, and rather than on assets. Assets is something that can be manipulated, but market cap of larger companies is tough to manipulate. In the last AMA also, I have given I've given an answer on this as to how assets can be manipulated by the management to be inflated or deflated. But it's not easy to manipulate the pricing or the market cap of a particular company. Yes, there is speculative trade which happens, but then we take a 3-year moving average market cap. So given all the regulations around insider trading and stuff like that in the global markets, we feel, our Sharia scholars feel, and our Sharia board feels that market cap is a good measure. But the detailed reasoning, inshallah, we'll send out a research report or a blog, and you can have a look at that. But the global consensus, I think more than 70-75% of Sharia boards during the world, globally in the world, have come to a consensus that Sharia screening should be done on market cap, because that's a more solid assessment of a company's worth. It's a big discussion. I'll give it more details in the write-up. Do look out for that. So be regular on the app and you'll get the answer. Rashid Iqbal says, can I buy stocks today and sell later? Absolutely. Pulat says, some Malaysian stocks that are compliant according to Bursa Malaysia are not compliant by Islamicly. Yes. The principal reason is the criteria that is being used. So Bursa Malaysia may be using a different criteria, and we are using a different criteria. So please have a look at that. Shami Khan says, how do you get income from the app? It's a private question, but I'm happy to answer it. As of now, we're putting in our own money. We are doing the research using our own money. We are paying the salaries and all the cost of getting this information from our own. Inshallah, we will have a very small subscription fee that we would like to take from you. So we look forward to your support. We look forward to you supporting us. If you like us, if you think that we're doing something good, if you think we have the capability of giving you such information in an unbiased, transparent, professional, high quality, institutional grade manner, and please do subscribe to our packages. If you're regular on the app from now onwards also, you will get a special discounted, deep discounted pricing, which is available only for the regular users. So look out for that. That's the only way that we make money. Nothing else as of now. Nawaz says, you have shares like BP and Shell marked as non-compliant, but can be found on the iShares Islamic ETF. How comes? I don't know what is the basis of screening in the iShares Islamic ETF. You'll have to ask them. If you ask me why BP and Shell are compliant, I can answer from our side why BP and Shell are compliant. If they're non-compliant over there, ask them, send them an email. My gut feeling is that the screening criteria will be different. That's it. Hazwan says, and that's the last question I have for now, if I use Islamically to buy Sharia stocks through a global brokerage company which is not Sharia compliant, is the profit of the trading that we receive halal? Very simple question he's asking. He says that he uses a trading company which may not be Sharia compliant. 99.99% trading stock brokerage companies do not have a Sharia compliant certificate. They may definitely be non-compliant, but that doesn't affect you. As long as you look at Islamically, invest in stocks using the rules of Sharia trading, you're fine, absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. So you're completely fine. You may use a local stock broker, which may or may not be Sharia compliant, but doesn't matter. The stock that you're buying is Sharia compliant. The money with what you're buying is Sharia compliant. Alhamdulillah, the rules of trading that you're following are Sharia compliant. The returns that you get will be Sharia compliant. If there's a purification required, you can use Islamicly app to use the purification. Use the advanced desktop version, which can integrate both of these things. Instantly, it will tell you what has to be sold out, what doesn't have to be sold out. The advanced version will make your life very easy at a very small price. So do look out for that. I think I've reached the end of all the questions, and very soon, inshallah, it will be time for iftar as well. It's the first and the second Ramadan over here with us. Please stay home. Please join us for further AMAs. Please do give feedback on the app. If you like us, if you have any questions, feel free to post it on the app. If you love us, please do subscribe to the advanced version, which is going to come in. Do help us by paying the subscription fees. That's the only way that we will be able to give you high quality research and be answerable to you and have the best Sharia scholars in the world to help you out with. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Have a nice iftar, inshallah. If you've already broken your fast, okay, and you're preparing for Tarawih at home, please do that. Stay with your family and pray for all of us. Pray for Islamicly as well, that we have a successful advanced version launch, and we look forward to all your support. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.